Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc. Another day, another 24 hours of transfer news, views, and clues to go through with yous. I'm back here, of course, on Football Inc., the only place in town to get 24 hours of football summarised in about an hour and just over an hour. So I'm here with co-host Jonny H3232. How are you, Jonny?
I'm all right. I'm survived. I got dragged down around Bicester. For those of you who don't know what Bicester is, it's a massive shopping place where husbands get dragged by their missus, or it's when you have to go and buy something. It's like an outlet store. For those that don't know, it's about an hour.
For the Americans watching, it's probably known as Bicester.
Bicester, yes, Bicester. And you end up buying things you don't need because they're on discount. That's what normally happens. But I raced back only to find that Sean had a massive power cut. So that's why we're late today, guys, because we like to be in the afternoon, but we're bringing it to you at night. Yeah, so he's had a power cut. I've had power failure after being dragged around for all that, but we're here. We're here.
We've got loads to talk about, guys. Absolutely loads to talk. Tottenham Hotspur have just announced the signing, or they haven't announced it, but it's come through a club spokesman, if you like, an Ali Gold. Tottenham have just announced a £5 million signing of a monster centre-back. And if you believe Twitter and you believe YouTube, apparently he's the best player in the world that no one had heard of 3 minutes ago. Kota Takei from Japanese side Kawasaki. He's got a good engine on him, hasn't he, Jonny?
Yeah, Kawasaki made a signing very quickly. And as far as I know, he's got a Jewish-Japanese solicitor called Sosumi. All the
there you go. We're getting cancelled. Love to see it. Love to see it, guys. Before we get into it, we've obviously got loads of other transfer news and clues.
Is anyone here? Oh, there's
people here. Guys, please smash the granny out of the like button like you always do. Smash it out of the park for us. It's the best way to show that you enjoy the content. It helps the algorithm find new potential football fans to hopefully enjoy it as well. Smash the subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment throughout. Let us know your thoughts on what we're saying. But don't forget, if you're new around these here parts, please let us know where you're from and who you support so we can get to know you as the channel grows. Jonny, we'll save Takai a little bit later on.
He's tall for his height, though, Sean.
He's tall for his... He's very tall for his height.
Some people thought he might need a step ladder for the crosses, but no, he's. There are tall Japanese people. There seems to be some sort of misconception that all Japanese people are rather on the short side. No, they're not. 6'3", I believe he is, and
100%.
He's a Japanese international.
Japanese Dan Burn.
Yeah.
It's going to be sensational. We'll come back to him, mate, because today's the major topic, the major news story is coming out of Southeast London, Crystal Palace. Two stories, actually, at the same time. First and foremost, if you're a Palace fan, congratulations. Your problems are apparently over. You will be playing in the Europa League after John Textor, Botafogo co-owner of a team in France whose name escapes me. Is it Lyon? I'm not sure who it is. And also a team in Belgium, multi-club owner John Textor. He has sold his stake to the New York Jets owner, co-owner Woody
Johnson. We'll
park all the puns. But at the same time, Jonny, goalkeeper Walter Benitez has agreed to join Crystal Palace when his PSV Eindhoven contract expires on July the 1st. A massive goalkeeper signing. Walter Benitez is getting on a little bit, 33 years old, I think, but he's been around the block, mate. A really established, experienced, cracking goalkeeper, I'm entirely honest. Massive day for Crystal Palace, mate, and it changes quite a lot. It changes, obviously, maybe Eberechi Eze's potential desire to leave. It changes possibly Jean-Philippe Mateta's desire to leave. It validates Oliver Glasner staying. And, of course, does that mean that Mark Gahey now is more likely or less likely to run down his contract because he's got the European football that he might not have had 24 hours ago, which might have expedited his decision around a premature exit to go somewhere else in the Premier League? Mate, lots going on at Palace. What's your thoughts?
Well, let's be honest, right? Could Crystal Palace win the Europa League?
I think they've got just as good a chance as Aston Villa, if I'm entirely honest.
Why not? With the manager, don't forget, he took Eintracht Frankfurt to victory in the Europa League. No one fancied them at the beginning. They went on and won it, and that was when the top teams from the Champions League dropped down. But Woody Johnson, I mean, look, if you're an American football fan and you know the New York Jets, this is big news. I mean, this guy's worth about $3 or $4 billion.
Yeah, £3.3 billion apparently.
Yeah, £3.3 billion, not dollars. So he's worth even more. So, they're getting a proper owner. And let's be honest, Sean, he's got it cheap. 43% for £171 million. I think that's a bloody bargain for a Premier League club. I mean,
is Crystal Palace 1/10 of the size of Tottenham Hotspur?
Well, I just,
I don't think he is at all. Not at all. I think Crystal Palace, obviously, they haven't got a brilliant stadium. Selhurst Park is a bit of a shithole. But, that will essentially be developed. There's a lot of opportunity there. If you do have owners with big spending plans that can do that sort of thing in the infrastructure, Crystal Palace are just stepping in, and they've got a lovely manager there. They've got a lovely little settled team. It's going to be interesting to see whether they can hold them all together. But right now, things are very much up for Crystal Palace, aren't they?
Well, what's he going to do? He's going to twin them with the New York Jets, isn't he? So when he's up in New York Jets, he's going to be promoting London club, Crystal Palace. There'll be Crystal Palace stuff. No doubt in New York, they'll be promoting it. And let's be honest, the growth of football is huge in America, especially in North America. And why not? Might be unfashionable in terms of the big clubs, the fashionable clubs, the support in America. But I think it's a shrewd move. I mean, make you laugh, the fit for purpose owner that has to be passed. They didn't have any problems passing the Saudis without telling anybody. I mean, that was done on the QT. But the big news is it's a massive double whammy, let's be honest, for the Eagles, because to now be guaranteed to be competing in Europe, I mean, that's a massive thing for Crystal Palace. And to have a new owner who's no doubt going to fund stuff. And don't forget, when a new owner comes in, they can fund that up to an extra £30 million leeway. Is that not correct, Sean?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. For the first year or two.
It's good news for them. It's good news. Would definitely help Crystal Palace take off. That's for sure.
I don't mind this Walter Benitez signing as well, mate. He's 32 years old. He's played for Argentina. He's not the Argentinian number one, obviously. Emi Martinez is, but he has played for Argentina. Really, really solid goalkeeper, mate. Obviously plays for Eindhoven at the moment. Like nothing to dislike about him. Used to be at Nice before that. He's been there for a few years. Obviously, he's not like, I'm not saying he's top draw, but it's a solid signing, mate. Solid signing,
Yeah, I still don't think he's going to take over from Dean Henderson.
No, probably not.
But like we said, more and more goalkeepers are getting injured, right? Because they're coming into contact, because they're playing out from the back. They're coming in more foot injuries and more injuries that we've seen probably last season I've ever seen in goalkeepers. So I expect, you've got to have a top quality backup, and Walter Benitez is definitely that. And he's 32. I mean, a goalkeeper, let's be honest, can go up to 36, 37. Not a problem.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. But obviously, Crystal Palace, good day for them. Congratulations. Nottingham Forest owner, a little bit unhappy. I think there's a little bit of spiciness now between Palace and Forest. Forest tried to get them kicked out of the Europa League so they could snatch the spot. A little bit sour grapes with the way their season finished, perhaps. But either way, good news for Palace, sad news for Nottingham Forest. But obviously, they didn't do enough to deserve it in the season. Mate, moving the stories forward, there's lots to get through tonight. Rooney Bargy, Onion Bargy, dubbed the Swedish Messi, rejected Tottenham Hotspur before deciding to join Barcelona. Barcelona have got this guy, injury prone but super talented. Was he 18, 19 years old now?
He's 19, 20. Listen, he had a terrible ACL injury. He's coming to the end of his contract in January. His contract ends. He's refusing to sign a new contract. They're going to pick him up for around about €2.5 million. Now, that is the sort of deal that Barcelona love, to strike a talented player, bring him back. You've got nothing to lose at $2.5 million, and they won't need to, Jets will definitely help Palace take off. And we're going with the proper poor jokes tonight, guys. Keep them coming.
Oh, I think this is the best one. We've signed George Takai. Oh my. It's the old Star Trek guy, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh my.
That's sensational, James. Well done, mate. Well done. But yeah, Rooney Barty, €2.5 million. Not a lot. And maybe Barcelona got one up. We got one over on Barcelona when it came to another Swede or Scandinavian player in Lucas Bergvall. So now maybe Barcelona are like, you want our Swede, we'll take your Dane. You know, it's an interesting one, mate. An interesting one. Good player, cheap. It's a shame that, because I think Tottenham obviously wanted him, but he has chosen to go to Barcelona, and you can understand that, right? It's not the end of the world. You don't want to blame Tottenham missing out on that one.
Come on, Sean. You know, Barcelona are on the decline. Spurs are on the rise. You know, he's probably made the wrong choice. But hey,
well, certainly if he can't get him registered in the squad, you know, they've still got squad registration problems over there, haven't they? So
yeah. Well, until he's holding the shirt, it's not a done deal, right?
That's right. Exactly, mate. Exactly. So good luck to him, though. Hopefully his injury problems are behind, and if they can put that stuff to bed, then €2.5 million is probably an absolute bargain. I'm surprised there wasn't a queue of people lining up. Just looking at this. This is obviously the Japanese guy we've just signed. Apparently, Boris is saying he had offers from big teams in Germany and Italy, and he decided to join Spurs. Roma, Bologna, Betis, Stuttgart, Lille, Lyon, and Porto aren't pushovers. If we've beaten all those guys to this Japanese fella, then seems like a good deal, mate. I haven't even had a chance to run him through the Y-Scout yet, so I've got no idea what he is, what he looks like, or what he's capable of. But I did just take a quick 5-second gander at the YouTube highlight reel, and he looks like he's quite good at sort of slide tackles from deep, from behind, trying to get people out of trouble. It's interesting though, mate, right? A lot of Tottenham fans are getting very frustrated and fed up right now with like, no more youth. But this is the trend. This is the way it's going. It's not just Tottenham. Everybody is out trying to find every bit of talent for every 18, 19-year-old in whichever corner of the earth they come from. If they show a little bit of early maturity and if they're big physical specimens, they seem to go for a premium. Now, Tottenham haven't necessarily paid a massive premium for this guy, but we spoke about this yesterday. Chelsea dropping 40 million quid on the geezer from Sporting, 15 million quid on the guy from Corinthians, 7 million on the guy from Kazakhstan. We know that City like to do it. Arsenal are doing it. Tottenham obviously are doing it. Lots of teams around Europe are known for doing it. Does it start to kind of cannibalize the value proposition, mate? After a while, if everybody is going around looking for 18-year-olds that have just shown a little bit of flair, then eventually those numbers are going to start picking up to being unreasonable valuations for kids that haven't done it yet. And we know how many kids, what percentage of the kids that are supposed to be wonder kids actually become wonder players is very few. A lot of them get caught up in the trick of too much too soon, or just go off the ball for whatever reason. And if everybody's moving in that direction, doesn't it start to become a nullified value prop where you're overpaying for unproven talent and then essentially you're pricing in perfection? It's problematic, doesn't it?
I like this model. I make no bones about it. I've been going on about this before we even started doing it at Spurs. You know, if you kiss enough frogs, right, you'll find a few princes, right? And, when you're buying, 5 million, 4 million, Ashley Phillips, 2 million, right? Take, 5 million, Bergvall, 8 million, Papasar, 12 million, Destiny Udogie, 15 million, right? Okay, I'm all for it. Chelsea have bought a fantastic player called Estavo William, right, from Palmeiras, right? For me, Estavo William, for me, is going to be absolutely superb. I think Palmeiras have got one more game coming this week. I think actually he's called Messinho, right, as his nickname, right? I know it's one that. So he's playing
for Chelsea.
Yes, Estavo William, right? Now, He was the number 2. It was a toss-up between him and Endrick as to who was the best of their age group. Many think Estavo William is the better player than Endrick. We'll see him play later on this week. It might actually be tonight or tomorrow. Is Inter Miami play Palmeiras, and you'll see Messi versus the young upstart. Now, they paid good money, but they didn't pay like 80 million or 75 million. But he is meant to be the best. Reading the reports from the coach, can't remember his name now, Palmeiras, but he said this is the best kid that he's trained, and the fact that he's just 18, I don't think there's anything wrong with investing in these kids. And, we do mock them because, when someone like, as a Spurs fan, when Daniel Levy says, we're out to win the Champions League, we're out to win this, that, and the other, and, he signs a £5 million Japanese player, he ain't going to set the world on fire, and you're going to get all the people attacking them. But they said the same about Bergvall. Who's laughing now? So let's wait and see. Proof's in the pudding. Let's not knock it. It's only the start of the window. Foxy, I'd love to know, Foxy, in the chat, whether or not you whenever you come in the chats, you always seem to know a lot about the players. Do you have Y Scout, or are you? You've said here Take has some clear weaknesses in his game, to be honest, from when I've watched him. But I think his height and technical qualities will be why Spurs have taken him. Would be amazed if he's thrown in this season. So just let us know, Foxy. Is this a Y Scout, or are you watching Japanese football? Because Sean and I watch a lot of football, but I never watched Japanese football.
Yeah, I never watched Japanese football. But listen, yeah, you do seem to know a lot, mate. So let us know your secret sauce. In the meantime, mate, there's so many stories we've got to bounce through. Huh?
Hoisin sauce.
Hoisin sauce, yeah. We've got to move this story forward towards Manchester United, the story that doesn't go away. Today's story is that Chelsea and Manchester United are looking to do a swap deal for Garnacho and Nkunku. That Nkunku would leave Chelsea and go to United, and that Garnacho goes in the other direction. I'm not sure about the pricing, not sure about the valuations. Maybe it's something not too dissimilar.
One fit and one with an ACL problem.
Yeah, but one with a lot of baggage in other ways, and the other, yeah. I just feel like, if this is true, is this just a way to kind of like essentially figure out a nice little accounting trick to be able to write down various skill sets? Chelsea always seem to be okay with creative accounting. United seemingly can't get any of their players out. Is this going to be some method where if they're both valued at about the same level, about £60 million each, do they essentially just price it at a super high level or a super low level to be able to kind of get their amortization on the right side, all that bollocks?
Well, they can't see that what they want is someone mobile, right? And Cuckoo when he was at RB Leipzig, he was one of the hottest strikers in Europe. He was unbelievable. He's had an ACL. If he gets back to his fitness, then you've got someone extremely mobile to link up with Cunha, which I think is a great deal. But if he hasn't, I definitely think that Chelsea got the better of that deal with Garnacho.
Well, only if he's not going to be a moody little miserable git,
But they've done deals. Maybe United are smarting a bit from the fact that they threw back Jadon Sancho and paid him a £5 million fine rather than taking him, because it sort of screwed them up a bit. But if they can do this,
£5 million versus £25 million to take the player on, it's like it's
a must be a bad egg, Sean. He must be a bad egg.
It must be a bad egg for that to be the case. Are you really then going to go and get another guy that's also known for being a bad egg?
That makes sense.
Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, unless, as I say, there's shenanigans going on here where they want to be able to, write down certain players, amortize certain players at a certain price point, do the things that we saw happening last summer. And I think that Chelsea think in a different way about these things. We're sitting here as Tottenham fans saying, well, preferably no one takes Garnacho, no one takes Rashford, no one takes, Anthony or whatever. These things are dragged out until the last stage of the transfer window, and in so doing, Manchester United are cock-blocked by themselves, by their own prior financial mistakes. And then Tottenham and other teams can then get on and take those targets that United are looking to do. Chelsea, if there's any truth to this story, just always seem to come at it from a different angle, where they're happy to do business with teams that are competitors with them, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if it means that they can get on with their own ambitions, the only way to do that is by finding a loophole that requires some sort of back scratching from a competitor, then so be it. Maybe they're playing the longer game, the bigger game. It's quite fascinating to see how these things work out, isn't it?
Chelsea will do deals with Man United, but Chelsea don't want to do deals with Spurs. I've seen rumours and stories about Spurs taking back Noni Makiwenny, right? Noni. He'd come back in as a club-trained player. But that's all very well and good. But what's the likelihood of him wanting to leave Chelsea and come to Spurs? In the real world.
Do you think he would get minutes at Tottenham? Do you think he's that good of a player?
I think he's a good player. I think it depends. Would we rather have? I'd rather have Eze and Brian and Waymo. But I wouldn't say no. He's dangerous. He takes players on. He's a handful. He's a handful. Foxy, just to say, Estavo, totally different level to Endrick. Interesting to see what you think about that. Are you saying that because they are 1 and 2, they were 1 and 2 in Brazil as the best player? Chris says youth is a good option. There are proven big name players that will always struggle to attract. You see, the thing is, Sean and I were talking about this yesterday. Florian Wirtz, he's made of strong stuff. Frimpong said that. You're not going to grind him down. But 120 million pounds, if it does go wrong, is there anything wrong with buying these players for 9, 10, 15, 5?
No, as long as you're not chewing up all your budget buying up these £10 million players. If you buy 20 of them, I'm fine with going out and doing it strategically. I'd get bored if it was like, if I was a Chelsea fan and just seeing, we signed another one, then I would be like, I'll just throw them in the pen, right? Throw them in the creche and I'll wait until they develop. Whereas when Tottenham sign one, you're kind of, because it's one here, one there, you're kind of more excited. But then at the same time, I've been excited about the prospects of Ashley Phillips, and we haven't seen anything from him in the relation to the first team. There's lots of, same with Dorrington, same with a lot of these players that you kind of go, well, I've heard lots of great things, but when are we going to see these guys step up? And that's why I think that, it's okay to do it. If it's like the 80-20 rule, I think 80% of your budget should always be on the ones that are the here and now. And 20% should be going into the ones that are ready for a couple of years' time. But look, for sure, Tottenham are going to have one hell of a squad in 2 or 3 years' time, Well,
just going quickly, because I don't want to go on there, but according to a report from Alan Nixon versus the Patron, several championship clubs were looking to sign Ashley Phillips next season.
Right.
And 6'5" defender, had a great season at Stoke. And Thomas Franken said, no, I want him coming to be part of the first team squad. So, that could be another one, another bargain where sometimes, it seems like an insignificant signing, but it can turn out to be super, super, super good. So let's see what happens. What are the ones you got there, Sean? There's quite a few out there tonight.
There's loads. It's another story for us right now, guys. Ibrahima Konate has rejected Liverpool's contract offer for a renewal, and he is now stalling in negotiations. That's coming out of The Guardian.
So
and Darwin, just quickly, Darwin Núñez has also, this is another Liverpool story. Darwin Núñez has given his initial green light. Where do you think he might be going, Johnny?
Napoli. Everyone's going to Napoli.
Everyone's going to Napoli or United.
They're going. I think Napoli need to hire a small jet to take all the punters that are flying out there.
They're trying to get everybody in.
Listen, I said that Liverpool's interesting situation because they've sold Konsa, right? He's going to buy Leverkusen. That deal's more or less ratified. 34 million, good deal. Plus what they got for the goalkeeper Kelleher, around about 12 million. So 45, 50 million. That gives them the money back for Kirkes, who's going to be done. The problem is, having sold Konsa, I said, will Konate sign that deal? He's only got a year left on his contract. Now, with a year left on his contract, is he going to do the same as Gahey is going to do at Crystal Palace and run it down? And will Liverpool let him run it down? Will they look to sell him? Will they look to sell him and say, look, Mark Gahey, we want you to come and pair up, not as a backup, as our number one, and sell off Konate and somehow convince Mark Gahey. I think they're going to be struggling to get rid of him, to get him out. And that could leave to Konsa. But we could have a situation next summer where Konsa leaves on a free. Gahey leaves on a free, but Gahey goes to Liverpool on a huge contract. I think that's the likely scenario.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, mate. Just quickly, I've got a super chat here from Big Blaine. Good to see you, mate. I love this one already. I think it's a great song. We've got to K, Kuta to K. I just don't think we understand. The deal stinks, Livy. We'd rather have a Z, but we've got Kuta to K.
Oh,
very good. Very
Bob
good.
Dylan, eat your heart out.
Whether you're bashing him or not, mate, it's just nice. It just works.
Any more super chats with songs? Bring them on.
Bring them on. Thank you very much, Blaine. Hope you're okay, mate. Appreciate you, buddy, as always. Absolute legend. Big up Arsenal, just a spicy Spurs fan. It's a really good song, mate. Very clever. He's been here 5 minutes. You've already cracked the song. Send that song to Spurs Song Sheet. They'll love it.
Yeah. I'll turn it into a masterpiece.
Mate, absolutely interesting news coming out of Liverpool. Let's just play sort of joined up thinking here, right? Let's do some thought experiments. If Darwin Núñez, of course, this is from Fabrizio Romano, who doesn't really speak unless it's close to a tap-in. Yeah. If he's saying that Darwin Núñez is going to Napoli, then would Napoli be bringing him in unless they thought they'd found a new home for Osimhen? And if so, then where does Osimhen end up?
Osimhen, listen, I said to you, I keep quoting this one, 63%. He wins 63% of his aerial duels. That's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
I think you put a Victor Osimhen in Liverpool. I mean, honestly, Liverpool are going to buy another striker. They're going to buy.
They want your mate, Etitike.
Listen, I'm loving this because I think the Premier League is going to be mega exciting next season. I mean, Liverpool are going for it. Man City have
gone for it,
stocked up. Oscar Bob's back even now. They're gonna have them all backfiring. Rodri should be back. They're going to be backfiring again. And Arsenal with their Zubimendi and the other signings they're going to make, it's going to be exciting. Meanwhile, Madzi has given us the smaller news, but not insignificant news, that Paul Mullin, who's been the pilot of Wrexham for a long time.
Mate, we don't prejudice on this channel. Whatever the news, we're bringing it to your attention. Thank you, Madzi. Appreciate that.
If you've seen Return to Wrexham, right? If you've seen Return to Wrexham, Paul Mullin's been a bit of a hero there. He's off to Wigan. Don't say we don't talk about the smaller clubs. And thanks very much, Madzi, for that one.
Got some other stories here, mate. There's a lot coming out tonight.
Richie at Liverpool. That's an Heskey at Arsenal.
Well, actually, let's talk about Richarlison. Richarlison apparently has been the subject of an inquiry from Galatasaray, and apparently Tottenham have greenlit the opportunity for him to go. Do you think I think the Turkish fans would absolutely love a little bit of Richarlison. They love that kind of shithousery, that kind of passion. That you know what, and it's probably a standard of the league there that he'd probably go and bang in 20 goals, cement his place in the Brazilian team. Not that he's probably under threat anyway, but. I don't think it'd be a terrible place for him to go. What's your thoughts?
So, if he goes, Turkey never normally cough up any money. They're probably paying it over 15 years in default on some of the payments. But if they were to come up with the money, I don't think he'd go to Turkey personally. That's my personal. I can't see him leaving the Champions League to go to Turkey personally. But if he's
never leaving Tottenham, is he? Even when his contract's run down, he's still going to be hanging around the training ground.
I saw him. He's like rocking with a baby. He's obviously never had a baby before. I reckon he's going like this. The baby's just eaten. You can just see 3 seconds after the video's finished, he's just thrown up all over him. But I can't see him. If he does leave, that means Spurs are going to buy another striker. You can't go to the Champions League and the Premier League and have one striker. No team can. So I can't see that one happening personally. No.
So you can't see him. You can't see him leaving at all.
No, I can only see him potentially at the end of the transfer window. Should Spurs have an opportunity to sign a particular striker or an opportunity comes along, I can't personally see that happening. Not now that the Champions League football is is on offer. I really can't see it, if I'm brutally honest. Just a quick one. Southampton are willing to allow Aaron Ramsdale to leave on loan, not selling him, which is interesting. There's been lots of interest, but Galatasaray and Rangers are among the clubs interested in him. He's getting paid over 100 grand a week, so that might be a stumbling block for Rangers. But I wouldn't have thought Galatasaray, as I said, the tax situation there is a little different. And if they're in the Champions League, Galatasaray, is it Galatasaray or Fenerbahce is in the Champions League this season?
I don't know, to be honest, mate.
I'm not sure, actually, to be honest.
I think both are. I think both qualified.
Did they? Right, okay.
I think so. Yeah, it's a fascinating one, mate. We're talking about Leon here. So Connor, big up the Connor, who's leaving Nomex. Yeah. We speak about this a lot, right? Like the pillaging of the French league, the TB deal's a mess. Yeah.
No money.
I said John Texter earlier. He's obviously sold his Palace stake. Botafogo, who's doing really well. He's the owner down there. But they've also... I said I didn't know if it was Leon or someone else. It was Leon. He's doing that to save Leon. There's loads of gems, he's saying, to be had in that league. And one such player that is on a lot of minds of a lot of clubs in the Premier League and around the top leagues in Europe is Malik Fofana. 5'4" Malik Fofana. He is the smallest player I've ever seen, I think, in a football pitch, but he is a cracking little tricky winger, mate. He is an incredible talent. 30 million euros is what's being asked of him. Can play on both sides. Who was it that you mentioned in the earlier on? That Tottenham were in for him or looking at him?
Yeah,
loads of teams, aren't they? Arsenal as well.
Lots of clubs are looking at him. The thing he reminds me. Who was the player that played for Wolves? Tiny little player. Tricky.
Yeah. I know the one you mean. He was.
When he first came out, I swear to you, on my life, right? No joking. I thought he was the ball boy. I thought he was talking about. I thought it was the ball boy.
Podence. Daniel Podence, wasn't it?
Podence. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. Podence. Thank you.
This guy's smaller than Podence, I think.
Do you think he's smaller than Podence?
Daniel Podence is 1.70 m. Yeah, Malik Fofana is 1.68. So
wow, smaller than him. He's going to be the same size as the ball boy. And the kid. Imagine walking out a kid bigger than you. Hey.
He's holding your hand. You're not holding his hand. He's holding yours.
We only need the little kids for him. No, listen. Liverpool. Can you imagine? Keep coming.
That'd be so funny.
Oh dear. We're heightists. Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Tottenham, Chelsea, and multiple I'm still laughing from that. Premier League clubs are after him. Really good player. Really good player. Listen, we've seen it before. Small players do well. Who can forget Dennis Wise? He could have sat in the overhead locker.
Yeah, Zola. There's loads of them, right? Loads of smaller players out there. That it's a low centre of gravity. It helps if you're a winger. And this guy's 20 years old, so he fits the profile of what most teams are looking for. As we've been saying, right? You know, it's one of those situations where the French team are getting pillaged. The French league are getting pillaged for all their good talent because it just shows you how fragile these ecosystems are. If the massive source of funding, which is the media broadcasting rights deals, get a little bit sloppy. Let's another super chat from Blaine. Thanks, Blaine, mate. You're so nice. He's on the source tonight. Clearly, having a few beers, are you, Blaine? We've got Johnny Butler and Johnny. You just don't bloody understand. They spin the rumour mill. Their shows are fucking brilliant. We've got Sean and Johnny. I'm here all night, folks. Very good, mate. Very good.
I'm picking that one. I've got to take a picture of that one. There you go. That's the best one of the night. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. Take me on.
Full be gone. A second two. Good to see you, Johnny. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, Brian Hill's another tiny one. David Silva, Aaron Lennon, 100%. But I think these guys are like giant.
Mate. I mean, this guy's almost a short midget.
Yeah, he must be 5'2", 5'3", something. What is 168? Can someone do the transfer for me? Let me know.
I need real money.
Real money. whilst we're doing that, I'm going to get up the next story.
Exactly, Phil.
Arsenal have entered the race for explosive PSG winger Bradley Barcola. It's thought that Barcola has no plans to leave the French club. Well, PSG are probably the only club in the French system that are not sort of worried about the money the same way. Cracking player, though, Bradley Barcola. But let's, to be entirely honest, mate, he's been entirely sidelined in the last year by Desiree Doué, a player that...
They're both starting, Sean. They're both, he's dovetailed them. And, the fact of the matter is, Barcola started quite a few of the games in the Champions League. Desiree Doué comes on. But, I mean, what a pivot between those two,
100%, mate, 100%. I mean, they've got, on the other side, who have they got on the other side? PSG squad.
Osman Dembele.
Osman Dembele, yeah, he's going to win the...
little fella.
Yeah, that guy's going to win the Ballon d'Or. Probably he's going to win it. Yeah, and they got Kvich, haven't they? Kvich Cavallo as well.
Oh, Kvich. I mean, listen.
Imagine having those 4 players where two of them have to sit on the bench because their competition is that strong. Quite insane.
It shows you how long they took them to work out that having Galacticos, individuals who are only interested in their own well-being, was not the way to go. It was the collective. And what a difference they've made since they got rid of the likes of, Messi, Mbappe, Neymar and the likes. And now they're an incredible football team with a fantastic manager.
Yeah, very impressive, mate. Very impressive. Just quickly, more Liverpool news. Milos Kerkez is on his way to Liverpool. He's completely done. He's just in the plane flying up there, which is, it's quite terrifying, especially if they get Jarell Hatto alongside him. Although, having said that, I've seen rumours out today that Jarell Hatto's agent is in London, and some people are saying he's in London to talk to Arsenal. Other people are saying he's in London to talk to Tottenham. Now, who have Arsenal got as a left-sided? They've got Julian Timber. They've got...
we need a left-sided. Spurs need a left-sided centre-back. We've needed one for 2 years. Obviously he's more of a left back these days than but he's played many times as a left back, left side centre back. Very, very good player, Jarell Hatto. I'd love to see him. 18-year-old fits the model. Who's the is it a Japanese player? Why's my mind gone blank? The Arsenal fullback. He's been injured for a long time. Spurs were interested in him, and we pulled out. But he's had quite a lot of injuries. I mean,
they've got Ben White. Zinchenko, and Tomiyasu, isn't it? Tomiyasu, right?
That's it, yeah.
So at the moment, they've got Tomiyasu, they've got Zinchenko, Kieran Tierney, Ricardo Calafiori that can play left side and left back.
Tierney's gone back to Celtic in the deal.
Tierney's gone back to Celtic. Zinchenko might be on the way out. If that's the case, then
he's been offered a plane ride to Napoli.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
And Liverpool,
they've got Miles Lewis Skelly as well. Doesn't Lewis Skelly play left back?
Listen, Skelly's going to be running into that position. Not a problem. In fact, if Liverpool sign one more Hungarian, they can almost make a goulash. They've got Soboslai and they've got Kerkez. They've got two Hungarians. No doubt, there's a third along the way. Like to link them up.
So I'm looking at this thinking, if there's truth to the idea that Jarell Hatto's agent's in London, do they need a left-sided centre back? If it's a left-sided centre back, they've obviously already got Gabriel there, and Julian Timber can play left-sided centre back or left back. Tomiyasu can play left back. Ben White's more of a right back.
I'd say it's Spurs. I would say
it's Spurs, isn't it? It might be Spurs.
Unless Chelsea need their 86th player.
No, well, Chelsea have still got Cucurella and
so many left-sided players. They got Colwell. They got too many players. Ridiculous.
And they've got Lewis Skelly as well. Yeah. But Ben White and Timber are injured. Yeah, that's true. Tommy actually plays on the right. Is he right back? Is he mainly right back? And Ben White's on the right.
On the right. Yeah.
Or maybe it is Arsenal.
He plays centre back. I actually thought, when we ended up with Emerson Royal, didn't we? We looked at Tomiyasu, and I think we went for Royal. Tomiyasu can play right centre back and right back.
Yeah, he's really very, very, very well-rounded, versatile.
Yeah, but he's really good player as well. Spurs have got no chance.
If Tottenham are really going to go and get Jarell Hatto, then that's a rat-a-tar-tar signing for Tottenham. But We shall see, mate. We shall see. They got Kirior as well. That's right, Sam. They got Kirior as well. Who can play a little bit everywhere. They got a lot of versatile players in the back, haven't they?
They've
Arsenal.
got Calafiori. They've got Tommy Ashu. They've got Timber. They've got my God. They've got plenty of defenders, mate. They could almost start an army there with the amount of defenders they got. Honestly, I don't think that's the position that they need to really worry about.
Imagine if Arsenal had been climbing the walls, waiting for their striker, and there's like a bomber, Arsenal from Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal bomber, and everyone's like, Who is it? It's Jarell Hasso. Like, don't get me wrong, they should be excited, but it's not what they want, is it? They want Sesko or they want their boy Guacares, right?
Listen, but, at the end of the day, the agent could just be in London for a bit of dinner, right?
Yeah, true.
That's how these rumours, he's flying in. We can see the agent. We spotted the plane. We followed the plane.
Plane tracker. Plane tracker is embarrassing, isn't it?
Landed in Luton, and then he's going to have a bit of dinner, stay overnight, and then go up to Manchester or Liverpool. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not get ahead of ourselves at all.
So I want to just quickly talk about Everton whilst we're in Liverpool. Let's jump across the Mersey and go to Everton. Everton are confident, according to Romano, of signing Kenny Tete from Fulham on a free transfer. Yeah. I really like Kenny Tete, mate. I think he's a really good right back. I think he's balanced. I think he can get forward. He's got a good engine on him. He can track a player. He doesn't really get spun too much. Knows how to show people to their weaker side, and he creates so much width for Fulham when they usually go down the outside under Marco Silva. So I'm surprised they didn't try and tie him down to a new contract, to be honest. But he's gone to Everton. Decent signing for Everton, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think he's perfect for David Moyes. Listen, what are you going to get, David Moyes? A really hard battling team that's hard to break down. Nice to speak to you, Jeff. Gunners in the house. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome in this chat. This is for all clubs. Do you know what? I think it's a perfect signing for him. How old is Kenny Tete now?
29, I think.
29, yeah. He'll probably offer him a 3-year contract. I can't see them offering any more than that.
I think he's a really good player, mate. I'm not sure who plays at right back for Everton currently.
Yeah, perfect for Everton, Foxy. Ashley Young and Coleman were finished. Coleman must be... But we saw Kyle Walker is rumoured to be going to Everton as well, which I think is a great call. Especially, look, if Ashley Young can cut it at 38 or 39, I'm sure Kyle Walker, even though he's lost some of his legs, he's got the physicality and still leftover pace to offer them plenty, I would say. I think the thing is, because I don't want to make this about Spurs again, but if one club needed a left centre-back for this long, is Tottenham. And, it might not be Hato, but it needs to be someone, because I just can't see Dragusin or Danso really covering up on that left-hand side. And with Mickey van der Ven's hamstrings about to pop at any minute, I can see that us really needing something else. 29. Okay, thanks, Foxy. Thanks very much.
I'm saying if Takai is being brought as cover for Van der Ven, assume then two are the one and two left side centre backs and Romero.
I can't see that, mate. You cannot bring in a guy from Japanese football at 20 years of age and throw him in, especially when you've got like Ashley Phillips. I know he's more right-sided, but you've got Ashley Phillips, who's 6'5" and quick and like a monster. I would think look, for me, there's only ever been one, and that is Piero Hincapié. I mean, for me, he's always been the player that I wanted. He's at Bayer Leverkusen. The club's being raped and pillaged as we speak. That's the one. If you've got intent, that's the player. You should be going and signing. There's been rumours that Ndikia is available, who's another left-sided player. But for me, it'd be Hincapié over all of them. For me,
I'm not too. I've not been that impressed with Endicott since he moved to Roma. I liked him at Frankfurt, but he's become a little bit of a boring, a bit of more of a boring player, if I'm honest. So not that bothered about him, but we shall see. Yeah, Everton have got Nathan Patterson as well at right back, but he's not great, is he? So it'd be a good signing for them. On top of that, mate, another story for us here is where am I in my list of things to get to? So Newcastle United and Burnley are in negotiations for keeper James Trafford. Talks to continue next week. So you wanted to bring in the Aaron Ramsdale story as well. I know he sort of touched on it briefly, but Ramsdale, apparently he's going to be allowed to leave Southampton because he doesn't want to play in the Championship, but they won't let him go on a permanent because they want him. Obviously, they think they're going to come straight back up again, right? So they want him for next season after next.
Yeah, but I think Trafford is a great signing. Look, there's lots of rumours going around about the keepers. We got Onana leaving to go to Monaco. Everyone's going to Monaco at the moment. Monaco seem to be sucking everyone in. And then you've got Emi Martinez wanting to leave Aston Villa and go to Manchester United. And then there's rumours about Vicario going from Spurs to AC Milan. And then you've got Mike Maignan, rumours that he wants to leave and go to Chelsea, but they can't agree the deal. And then you've got Ramsdale, who wants to leave and go to a Premier League club, but they're only allowing him to go on loan. Newcastle need a backup. I think, again, a bit like the strikers, Sean, it needs one of those dominoes to fall to kick off the goalkeeper situation for a few clubs at the moment. Would you not say?
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. Completely agree. I think it's not like an area of the market that I pay too much attention to, though, because I just don't find it particularly exciting, and it's difficult really to kind of, when you're looking at using the Y Scout to analyze goalkeepers, most of the detail is in their shot stopping. But I don't know really what you can like. Don't get me wrong. There's obviously levels to being a good shot stopper, but I always just treat shot stopping as I expect every goalkeeper to be a good shot stopper at the top end, and so it's the other things that I look for, and so like it's not really that
makes you the complete keeper. It's the other bits that it's standard. You need to be able to make saves. It's how good you are with your feet, how dominant are you collecting crosses and all the rest of it. Sam, I see you're saying Onana going where? Would you be happy as a Man United fan for Man United to keep Onana, or would you prefer to be buying Emi Martinez? Out of curiosity.
No, I can answer for him, mate. It's a no-brainer.
Well, it should be.
Onana is absolutely dog shit.
He's going to Monaco.
Onana is one of the best keepers in the game. So
yeah, I mean, he's listen, it's rumoured that he's going to Monaco. So I think it's a good fit for him. Is whether they can force him out. They might not be able to offer him the same wages, but it's tax-free, so that will balance it out. Yeah. Ecuador, Foxy, Pacho, Hincapié, and Joe Lorondes, right? Oh, I mean, Ecuador's been producing some fantastic players over the last 5-6 years. From Estepinian to these guys and the strikers and the like. And it's not going to get any worse. It's only going to improve.
This story out this morning. It's just a Tottenham. Just flicking through the transfer news here and looking at Tottenham again. Tottenham have added Coney de Winter. This is Ben Jacobs. I put this on my morning show with Bugsy to their shortlist of defender options should Cuti Romero leave the club. Do you think that this signing, because the signing has been spun by Ali Gold saying that he's expected to join the first team? So do we? I'm just looking at some other people. Like there's a guy called Nick Lazy8 who's like a big sort of friend of my channel, friend of Irish Hotspur. I've just seen, I know he follows Japanese football. I'm not sure if it's his wife that's Japanese or whatever, but he quite follows that, and he says this is the best. He's the best talent to emerge from Japanese football since Matoma. He thinks he's brilliant. He's really sort of versatile, strong, decisive in the challenge. Do you think that this guy's coming? It's a £5 million signing, but I don't know if that's like massive money for a Japanese transfer. But I mean, Ali Gold is saying that this guy is going to be coming in to compete in the first team. If so, then are all these other transfer rumours for centre backs essentially dead now, or are we still thinking that maybe QT Romero might leave the club if someone can put up a £70 million bid?
Look, for me, if you can hoover up talent, just like Chelsea are doing, and you're producing a conveyor belt of talent, whether you're Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man U, that's where it's at. Man City are doing it. Everyone's doing it, right? You buy up the talent. The fact is, as fans, we don't get excited when we see our club sign a player for €5 million or £5 million, whoever you are, whether you're Southampton, Crystal Palace, or whatever. But I remember when Spurs signed Bergvall for £8 million. I watched him be Crystal Palace versus QPR pre-season, and I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like blown away, and he was nowhere near the player he is now. And I think we are. There's definitely a snob value that you think, unless you're paying 50, 60 million pound, you can't get a player. There's been so many clubs that have spent absolute fortunes and ended up, with egg on their face, as Spurs have done. We had Ndombele, 65 million, or Arsenal with what was his name, the winger. You mentioned it the other day. The flop. Pepe. Yeah. There's look at Manchester United, 75 million on Højlund. Yeah. Every club has them. So for me, I welcome clubs that do due diligence and come up with a player. Proof will be in
another story out regarding a top. I'm not sure if he's top anymore, but certainly not that long ago, this guy was an absolute baller. Al Hilal have given Theo Hernandez 3 days to sign their contract offer, or they will move on to another target. That's coming from Sasha Tavolieri, who's re-emerged this summer as being fairly hot on the latest news. Maybe not quite as good. He's probably fallen down the pecking order a little bit in terms of amazing left backs. Don't know if he's just sort of like getting to that stage in his career. But that guy, he's got experience, leadership. He can play left back or left-sided centre back. He's super strong. He's always been very quick. Obviously, his brother's also sensational player. But he's leaving AC Milan. Could you see him if he doesn't want to go to the Saudi? If this is Saudi getting rejected for like the 10th time this year, like two questions here. One about the player specifically. Like, where does he go when he comes to the Premier League? I'd love to see him in the Premier League because I think he was my favourite left back for the last 5 years.
How old is he now, Shawnee?
Must be 31, I think. Let's have a look.
I thought he was 32.
He might be a little bit older than that. Let's have a look.
He's 32, 33.
Oh, no, he's not. Sorry, he's nothing like that old. Jesus.
Is he not?
27.
Really?
He's been around for a long time.
Wow.
But
much older.
But he just, I feel like, I don't know why he's fallen off a little bit, but I'm surprised he's so young, to be honest. The second question is, would you, if he rejects Saudi?
Yeah, that's just done my head in that. I can't believe he's only 27 years of age.
I know, yeah, surprised. First of all, I don't know why he's not quite at it like he was in the last couple of years, but
motivation, Sean. Motivation, money.
Yeah, maybe.
Money. Quite often.
Would you also see that maybe Saudi Arabia is a bit of tarnished goods now, a bit of yesterday's news? If like 5 or 6, 7, 8 players now, big players that they've tried to sign, have all said no, thank you.
I just think that we're at the stage now. It depends where you are at the stage of your career. At 27 years of age, do you really want to take that? I would say no. I thought he was older. And I'm thinking to myself, at that age, why aren't you taking it? If you value yourself as a footballer, you don't want to be going to Saudi. Come on, let's be serious, right? It's not like they're on 50 grand a week and they got to go out to Saudi to be, on massive money. It's not. These guys have been earning 150, 200 grand, like massive money for a long, long time. So it becomes more than just the money at this stage of their career at the moment. When you get to your 30s, I can understand going. I mean, look at Paul Pogba, right? Pogba, who hasn't played football in 3 years, hasn't kicked a football for 3 years almost. He's going to go to Monaco. He hasn't. He was offered huge money to go to Saudi, and he turned it down to go to play in Monaco. Now, I don't know how much football he could possibly play. He says he wants to go back into football to try and get into the French squad for the World Cup. I can't personally see that. Brave of him to go and do it and have a go. But how can you not play football for on 2.5 years, 3 years, and come back? But come back he has. And Monaco looked like they're going to offer him the contract, talked him out of going to Saudi Arabia, where he could have earned telephone numbers. So it's not always about the money, Sean. And he's at the stage of career where he could have taken that easy option.
So would you take him then to the Prem? Would you take him to? Would you have him at Tottenham?
Who?
Theo Hernandez.
Oh, Theo Hernandez. Yeah, I thought you were talking about Paul Pogba. No,
sorry. No, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Just go full circle.
I think most teams.
I think so. I don't know why he's dropped off a little bit, but I think him at his very best, he brings everything that we don't need as well. We don't have currently: leadership, experience, Champions League pedigree, proper. Like he's captain. He's immediately a captain material as well.
You can't fall in love with the name. That's what we do as fans, as football fans. We fall in love with the name. Yesteryear, where a player, we see them in their younger career, they're outstanding. We watch them in the Champions League and they're fantastic. And then 2-3 years later, they're free, they're available. Oh, he was unbelievable. Is there a reason why in the last couple of years he's dropped off? Which he has, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, he wouldn't be going to Saudi. I would suggest.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, it's a fascinating update, though. I just think that maybe Saudi Arabia is like the shine, all that glitters isn't gold. And I feel like maybe that they're probably like. And by the way, if there's some truth to that like these European clubs are not going to be able to just expect to sell their aging talent into Saudi Arabia, because a lot of these players go, no, I'm not interested, because the feedback from other players like Aymeric Laporte or whatever that wanted to cut his contract, they're just like, fuck that. Plus, not to get into any of the kind of politics on the show, but the Middle East is a little bit of a hotbed of risk right now. So, like, not saying that Saudi Arabia's caught up in that, but generally speaking, it might be a consideration of players or their families.
It might put them off.
Might be a factor, right? So,
a girlfriend or a wife, or like Richie's just had a baby. Do you fancy going to Saudi? Nah.
Yeah. So,
things like that. Families.
The collateral damage then of the sugar granddaddy, if the sugar daddy of European football is the Premier League, and the sugar granddaddy is Saudi Arabia, they even take some of the Premier League's cast-offs or ways to get themselves out of a jam. If the players are suddenly saying no, then all of a sudden that creates a bit of a bottleneck on the traditional market mechanics of the European transfer market, because a lot of clubs get themselves out of a jam by going towards Saudi Arabia, right? But I mean, how many big players have turned them down? So Osimhen's turned them down. Fernandez has turned them down. If Fernandez is another one,
Paul Pogba.
There's probably 10 big names that have said no, thank you, and that might have some serious.
Sesko turned them down.
Sesko, did he? Oh, did he? Didn't know that.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
That's not a surprise to me. But I mean, and then Aymeric Laporte obviously cut his contract. Jordan Henderson went over there pretending like he was all for it, and then suddenly changed his mind. That guy's an absolute flip flop on everything. But it's an interesting update that in the micro is just it's not a player that doesn't want to go, but on a macro level, it might have serious knock-on effects into the rest of the market, and that might be one of the things that's being thought about in the boardrooms around the Premier League when it's going, well, should we be spending 60, 70 million quid? One of the stories we haven't spoken about yet, mate, it's probably the last one we've got time for today. Rodrygo. But he's looking to come to Arsenal. For sure, an amazing talent. For sure, one of the top maybe the top 10 wingers or whatever, or forwards in the game. Real Madrid are happy for him to leave. They don't even want 90, 100 million euros. They wouldn't get it for him, but they're willing to come down to 70. And he'd be able to come in and play off the left like he wanted to do when he was at Real Madrid. But unfortunately, Real Madrid, there's too much talent over there in the likes of, Mbappe and Vinny Jr. and stuff. So he's been shoehorned onto the right, why he wants to leave. But even these players coming down to those price points that, a couple of years ago, £70 million, like Pepe cost, I think, £80 million, right? Anthony cost £80 million. So if you can get Rodrygo for 70, or Gyökeres for 65, or Sesko for 65, and yet still people aren't pulling the trigger, is it because they're worried about things like Saudi Arabia and that market drying up?
All right, listen, for me, if he goes anywhere, he's going to Arsenal, and Martinelli is going to Bayern Munich. I can see Bayern Munich sniffing around Martinelli. I really can. Definitely see that one. He's the type of player they like. They've lost, don't forget, they've got rid of Tell. They've got rid of Sane. And they lost out to Florian Wirtz, which was a massive blow to them. I mean, they have been twerking. Bayern Munich have been twerking for Florian Wirtz for the last 10 months. They even got Florian Wirtz's dad in, right? And they were twerking in front of him for months. He said, don't worry, I'll get my son to sign for you. Son, I want you to sign for Bayern Munich. Okay, Dad. No, it's true. I want you to go. So he went there, he had a look, and he didn't like what he saw. And he said, no, I want to go to Liverpool. And, at the end of the day, you can't force your kid to go, but he did everything. So with Bayern Munich smarting from that, I can see them looking for like an Eze. Yeah, I mean, 100% Marshall. Elise and Eze were unbelievable linking up together. They're a fantastic double act. Unfortunately, they were one. Elise was injured quite a lot, and when Elise came back, Eze was injured quite a bit. So, but the flip flop between the two, they're very, very good players, and they link up brilliantly. There was one I wanted to say, Sean, Keith Andrews, Brentford.
Yeah,
Brentford set piece coach. There's been a lot of talk about how Thomas Frank has taken all his staff with him. The only person he didn't take with him is Keith Andrews, who got a lot of plaudits last season for some of the set piece shenanigans that Brentford were getting up to. They had one of the best defensive and offensive set piece setups in the Premier League last season. And he was the guy who was behind the overload at the start of games that saw Brentford score, I think 3 goals within the first 2 minutes in 3 games on the trot. First time it's ever happened in the Premier League. So he's now looking likely or favourite to become the new Brentford manager. I mean, he's been coached with MK Dons and Sheffield United. I might be wrong, but I think he used to work for Sky Sports or Talk Sport or something, I'm sure, at some stage.
I think you're right about that, yeah.
I think he seems to be the favourite to take over that. I don't know what you guys think in the chat. With Frank going and all these players going and Bentancur looking to go, and we've heard of Nordgaard being linked away with Arsenal, do we feel that Brentford could be one of the favourites to get relegated this season? Let us know what you think in the chat.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth might struggle as well, mate. If they lose 5 of their best players.
2 seconds, Sean. Yeah,
right. If they lose 5 of their best players, I don't think that they're going to be able. Even if they can even if they get 300 million quid in sales, I still don't think that Bournemouth have got the draw to be able to spend that money to replace that talent immediately. So they might be able to spend 100 million quid of it and go again, but I just don't think they'll be able to replace that quality that quickly. I think Bournemouth will be very conscious of that when it comes to Semenyo. They just lost Kirkes. They're going to lose, or they've just lost Huijsen. They're going to lose Zabanye. There's 3 of their back 4 disappearing in the space of 2 months. That's a big hole to plug, especially for a team that likes to play attractive football. They need a balanced back 4. On top of that, they might lose Justin Kluivert to Leverkusen, who looks dead. He wants to leave. Semenyo obviously wants to come to Tottenham. But like I say, I think that Tottenham need to sort of shit or get off the pot a little bit here, because you're right. Eze might go to Bayern Munich. Someone else might come in and gazump Tottenham now that they know that there's a different structure that's available. And Bumo still hasn't decided or still hasn't gone anywhere yet. But I think that's going to happen very, very quickly in the next few days. And then if those two don't come to Tottenham, then Tottenham are going to have to go to Semenyo. But if Bournemouth have already lost 4 of those 5 players, they're going to whack that price up because they can't afford to lose. I don't know if you heard what I said before, when you turned the camera on.
I heard you.
I just think that they can't replace that. But
do you think, the question is, do you think Brentford are now going to be one of the favourites to go down with losing
I think all 3 of the 3 that will come up, or 2 of them will go back down. And then if Leeds manage to stay up, I think
Leeds are the strongest contenders.
If any of them can, it will probably be them. And then if they do, who will replace them? I think at the moment, Bournemouth, if they lose all their players, are the bigger risk for me than Brentford. But I still think Brentford are going to struggle as well.
Yeah, I think Brentford for me. For me, it's Brentford. I mean, Cochrane is a top coach, and he's gone. And Frank has gone. And Andrews, he's done a fantastic job in the set pieces, and that will be crucial for them, getting that extra edge in the games. It's actually quite interesting because a lot of Spurs fans have been speaking about, how exciting it's going to be with the set pieces now. Now we've got Thomas Frank in with all these people. How great we're going to be in the set pieces, how great they were last year, without realising the only person that didn't come was the guy who was in charge of the set pieces.
Yeah.
Do your research, guys. Do your research. Keith Andrews is my uncle too. Really? That's interesting. Do you see that, Bobby Andrews?
Interesting.
Keith Andrews is my uncle too. Well, send him good luck.
Brentford Keith Andrews.
Brentford Keith Andrews, who's run up for the job.
Congratulations to him, Bobby.
Congratulations.
How's your hangover after Friday? Was it Saturday night or Friday night? I forget what night it was, Bobby. We got drunk together, didn't we, mate? Good fun. Good fun. It's always nice. It's always nice when you're having a couple of beers and you're getting told in the chat, "I'm drinking as well, Shawnee. I'm drinking as well, mate."
I've got to be honest with you. I honestly think that Iriola is too good a coach to get relegated. That's my honest opinion. And they ain't selling with his talent ID, which is absolutely superb. Plus, they have quite a few players out on loan at the moment, which they'll be bringing back. I think Bournemouth knows.
Chris Meffram, yeah.
Yeah, and Bob Foley, as much as I hate him for all his business with PaySafe and reverse takers, it's another story, investments. He's a bit of a scoundrel, I believe. But he will not have invested into Bournemouth and to this club and the plans that he has about building a bigger stadium and all the rest of it to
see them go down. No, all I'm saying is though, even if they raise £300 million, like that might allow them to do a lot in the market. But is a £50 million player going to want to go to Bournemouth?
No, but they don't. That's not their model, Sean. Look
what I mean. And so if they have to go out there and find the next 5 players,
They will do it.
Are they all going to be monsters immediately?
I think he just knows a player. Bournemouth have got Krupi Jr. coming, Adrian Truffert, solid replacements for Kirkes as well. They got and they bought the guy in from Rennes as well, the centre back. They paid 13 million euros for the guy who's replacing Kirkes from Rennes.
Yeah, we're going to have to work on our French accent, mate, because I think there's going to be a lot of players from France coming in. Oh, le Truffert. Adrien Truffert.
Sacre bleu.
Mate, listen, it's about time to go. I think I've got to get myself, I've got to quickly go and freshen up because I'm going live at...
Bit of housekeeping, guys. If you're in the room, please hit the like button. I know it's a pain in the bum, but that little button there, hit that like button, please, because that helps us, helps the algorithm. And hit the comments, hit the likes. And if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. But the like button really helps us. We're getting great support. The channel's doing great. And all thanks to you guys who are here. We couldn't do it without you. And we will definitely be back tomorrow.
Every day, usually between 3 and 5 o'clock for an hour and 15. Yeah. Guys, in 17 minutes time, I'm going live on the Spurs Talk Show. This channel, when this show ends, it will redirect you over there. I've just got to go to the bathroom and freshen up, if you know what I mean. And I will be back. I might even start the show. I might even start the show 10 minutes early, just to not make you wait around. But if you do want to come over, then Spurs Talk Show, where we're going to go through. We're going to do the Y Scout tool again. We're going to go and find some nuggets of goals and some gems, and we are going to look at. We're going to get the Y Scouts version of data on this guy, Tiki from Takeshi's Castle from Japanese fame. And we are high up on the RHS YouTube video list. What does that mean? What does RHS YouTube video list mean, Reese? The Reese. I think it must be the Reese YouTube video list.
All right. Okay.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Is that what you mean?
Not sure what you mean. But appreciate you guys.
That's what he means. I think
we'll see you tomorrow. If you are Tottenham, you want to come over, see you over there in Tottenham in Spurs Talk Show.
Hit the like button, guys. Hit that button.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye from me.
Cheers, guys. It's goodbye from him. Bye.